Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Dead on Dave, back once again. As you notice, no frills, no theme, none of that, because I'm not feeling very good, and I'm just trying to get through this one right here because I got a big night tonight with the Royal Rumble and everything. So what I did was I took a whole bunch of pictures, memes, all kinds of stuff, advertising crap for my channel and stuff. And I went ahead and I threw it on here. I threw it in this thing, and we just got it all mixed up. We're going to have some fun with that as I answer your questions and read some of your comments, because I've been asking all week for your favorite Royal Rumble moments. I will read some of them. I will also get to viewer questions this week. So we're going to take care of both of those things here in a minute. But first, I want to talk about some news that is coming out, because there's a whole bunch of stuff breaking, and I want to get to some of it. Item number one, The Rock tweeted a picture of him in Philadelphia. Now, Joe Cronin earlier said that I was freaking out about it. I informed him about it, and then he started messing with me, and then I sent him some Rock impersonations of him because he's a monkey's anus. But I guess that's the definition of freaking out. And I said one thing that he was not on board with, and that was, I was like, oh my God, jokingly, I said, Rock's going to win the Rumble, ha ha ha. And he was like, oh God, suicide. And I said, honestly, I would rather see Rock and Brock versus Bryan and Brock. Now that's true. I would rather see that match, because that's how against I am Brock and Bryan, because I just don't think that Bryan could take the punishment that Brock could essentially put on him. I don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong. I could very well be wrong. It could be a 5-star match, even though Brock does not wrestle those type of matches anymore, those really high-energy technical matches. And he's had some issues with his wind in other matches, but maybe I'm completely wrong. The most technical person he's wrestled a match with was CM Punk, and honestly, I don't even remember that match very well. I mean, so it is what it is, you know. Other than that, it's been Triple H, and those matches were okay, but they certainly weren't technical masterpieces. I just don't know how well he would, at this stage in his career, how well he would mesh with Bryan. On the other hand, if The Rock were to make a surprise Royal Rumble appearance and win the damn thing and then go on to headline WrestleMania, which would make my head explode for other reasons, if they're going to keep the belt on Lesnar, I would rather them go that way. However, I would rather them go with Reigns over Rock. So, I mean, that just kind of shows where my head is. If I have a choice, I'm going to go with Reigns over Rock, but Bryan over Reigns, yet Rock over Bryan. Try to figure all that shit out. I have no idea. But it all depends on what scenario they'd be working with. It's just my personal preference. I feel The Rock and Brock could have a better match than Rock and Bryan. And remember, I'm just talking about this stage in Brock Lesnar's career. I'm not talking about overall performance. I'm not talking about 28-year-old Brock. That's not the Lesnar I'm talking about. I'm talking about this Lesnar that we've had recently. The ass kicker, the guy who just punches people and does German suplexes. I don't want to see Bryan take a German suplex from Brock Lesnar. I don't want to see it. It will scare me. I don't want to see that. And hopefully, all this will be moot, because I'm really hoping that Rollins is going to walk out of the Rumble with the championship, and it's going to set up a whole different set of events. So hopefully that'll happen, and we won't even have to worry about any of this. But look, The Rock doesn't do these things for no reason. So there's one of three things. One, Rock could be trolling everybody, which is a very good possibility. Two, I guess 4 reasons. 2, Rock really wanted a Philly cheesesteak. That's possible too. 3, The Rock is really going to be at the Royal Rumble in some capacity, which is a very, very good possibility. Maybe not even in the Royal Rumble, but he'll be probably there in some capacity. And 4, it's the dark horse, but there's a very good chance that this could happen as well. A phone call happened last night, and it kind of went like this. Hey, hello, Rock. It's Vince. I'm kind of worried about people getting mad about Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble. So I need you to do me a favor and get on a plane and go to Philadelphia. Okay, just get there and take a picture and put it on the Twitter. Okay, just put it on Twitter and everything will be fine. Okay, thank you, Dwayne. Thank you. I feel that conversation could have happened. This could be a smoke and mirrors move by Vince McMahon to try to take some of the emphasis off of something really egregious that might happen at the Royal Rumble. It's very possible. And I'm hoping it's not going to happen. But, I mean, let's face it. The WWE has let us down many times. And last year's Royal Rumble is arguably one of the worst ever for a lot of different reasons. The match itself maybe wasn't all that bad with the action. But the ending, the disappointment, it all just goes up there as one of the worst of all time. So we don't want to see that again, and we don't want to see a scramble fest like it was last year in where they have to make all these friggin' changes to appease everybody. We don't want to see any of that. That's not what we're looking for. So hopefully all that will be avoided with any luck. Okay? So there's my thoughts on that. Let's go ahead and get to some viewer questions, shall we? First one up is Damon Crosan. I'm sorry if I butcher your name. Crosan? Yes. Damon Crosan. What if they have Lesnar retain and have Undertaker win the Rumble to face him at Mania? I believe I answered this in the comment section. I said, I'll kill myself. That was my response. I'm going to elaborate on that a little bit. Here's the thing. If they want to have Undertaker Lesnar, they do not need Undertaker to be a number one contender or even Lesnar to have the belt for them to do it. There's no need for that. There's absolutely no need for this match to take place if the belt is on the line for another reason too. And that is, do you know how many spots Undertaker would be taking? I mean, he'd be taking a lot of people's spots, and it would piss off a lot of people. Because you got to figure, if Lesnar and Undertaker fight for the belt, so not only would Undertaker be winning the Royal Rumble, so you're taking away someone's big spot at the Rumble, then he's taking someone's main event spot at WrestleMania. He's taking up the title picture, and he's taking up the Undertaker match, all in one fell swoop. They can have two other matches with Undertaker and somebody else, and Lesnar and somebody else, and have a much more full card and using people in a better manner. Or the way I've been preaching for a while, Lesnar and Undertaker. Just have Lesnar and Undertaker fight. Have Lesnar drop the belt right here at Rumble due to Undertaker interference. It makes the most sense. That way Undertaker and Lesnar get to settle their thing. That would be awesome. And then the main event picture for the belt is with guys that people really want to see wrestle at WrestleMania. Part of me really does believe that maybe they watched a little bit of that New Japan Pro Wrestling, their version of WrestleMania. And they saw the type of caliber there was in wrestling matches, especially in the main event. And maybe that's what they're going to go for. Maybe they're going to give us something like Bryan and Rollins. And I want to clarify something earlier, too. I'm not stating that I want The Rock over Bryan. If Bryan's fighting anybody else, I want to see Bryan win the Royal Rumble. If he's fighting anyone else and it's not Lesnar for the title, I want to see Daniel Bryan win the Royal Rumble. Absolutely would love to see it. So I don't have a problem with that. Now back to what I was saying. I'd love to see Bryan and Ziggler, Bryan Rollins, Bryan Reigns Rollins, Bryan Ambrose Reigns Rollins. I mean, there's so many ways they can go, and it would be such a friggin' fantastic match. It'd be so much fun because everybody brings something different, and it would be really cool to see. So it just doesn't make any sense for Lesnar to retain and Undertaker to win the Rumble. It would be taking way too many people's spots, which is a giant complaint amongst the backroom, locker room guys, wrestlers, management, fans, smarks, assholes, YouTube commentators, and fucking lepers. I mean, everybody has a problem with it. It's ridiculous. So, thank you, Damien Crosan. I hope I pronounced it right. Mr. Supreme. He wrote me on Twitter, hope it's not too late to ask a question for viewer questions, but what are your top 5 spears? It's not too late. It's not too late at all. My top 5 spears. I did not do any research into this. I didn't look up spears or anything, and I kind of feel like an asshole for it now. But let's see here. Goldberg's there. The Gore by Rhino. That's one of my favorites. I absolutely love it. Edge is probably number 1. If I have to pick a number 1, it would probably be Edge's. I love the way he gives it, the way he drives it down is really cool. I feel Roman Reigns gives a really good spear. Batista gives a spear. Big Show gives a spear. Christian gives a spear. So, any of those could go in the 5 spot as far as like Gilbert there. Gilbert's spear is number 5. I made myself laugh more than I was intending to. Okie dokie. Hanaya Carly Alexander, and I'm sure Hanina Carly Alexander. I'm sure I'm always mispronouncing your name, girl. I apologize. Can you talk about the 2007 Rumble when The Undertaker won it? Yes, Undertaker won the 2007 Royal Rumble. No, I'm kidding. It was a good one. I believe that was... I didn't even do any research into this. I'm kind of going off of memory. But I believe that is the Rumble when Taker and Shawn Michaels ended the Rumble, I want to say. I might be wrong. I gotta think for a second here. That's right. Yeah, he did take out Michaels last, and then he ended up facing Batista at WrestleMania that year. And Cena had matches with Orton and Michaels and all kinds of crazy shit. That's right. And that was also the year that at WrestleMania Umaga and Bobby Lashley fought the hair versus hair match with McMahon and Donald Trump, with Stone Cold Steve Austin as the special guest referee. Yeah, that's right. But as far as the rest, so the Undertaker won that Rumble. It was a good Rumble. That's not the one, might have been the one where Taker busted Shawn's nose, or it might have been the year before that, I believe. The other big matches on that card, it was Batista and Mr. Kennedy for the World Heavyweight Championship. Wow. And a last man standing match between John Cena and Umaga for the WWE Championship. Wow. Oh, yeah, and ECW was involved, too. That's right. It was ECW. It was the first time that they had that. That's absolutely right. There was also the Hardys versus Eminem. Oh, God, this is going way back. Good Lord. That's funny. That's crazy. ECW World Champion Bobby Lashley and Test. Wow, 2007 was a long time ago because Test is dead, Umaga's dead. Jeez. Yeah, so it was a good pay-per-view. It was in San Antonio, which was kind of cool. Not exactly Taker's backyard, but damn close enough. Texas is his backyard. So, it's pretty neat. The Undertaker got to win that one. And that was kind of the starting period of the wind down of his career. He was a part-timer with some extended spurts. But we knew what we were getting out of The Undertaker. Overall, I thought it was a pretty decent Rumble. The Undertaker winning is a cool thing. Hopefully, history will not repeat itself, though. I do not need to see another Undertaker victory. So, if you have any more Royal Rumbles or WrestleManias you want me to talk about, and I promise next time I'll go into it a little bit more in depth, and I just really feel like absolute dog anus right now. I'm trying to maintain and get through it. Dr. Bostonian, who always gives really, really good stuff. His question is, now that WrestleMania 32 is confirmed for Dallas, Texas, what's the possibility that Stone Cold laces him up one more time? Could we see Undertaker doing his last match at WrestleMania 32? If Taker does not go out this year, which I do think it's a possibility that his final match could be this year, it would make a lot of sense that we see both Stone Cold and Undertaker fight individual matches at next year's WrestleMania in Texas, since they both live there and it's their homes. So that makes a lot of sense. As far as who, I think that's a harder question. And I think there's another question about that. The next question, as a matter of fact. So I'll get into that for Stone Cold in a moment. As far as The Undertaker goes, I do see him having his final match. And I want to ask you guys a question. Who do you think The Undertaker's final match should be against? Just for synergy's sake, just because I think it would be awesome, even though we've seen it a million times and it would not be a good match. His final match, whether it's at WrestleMania or not, I would love to see it against Kane. And then they both go into the Hall of Fame. That's what I'd like to see. I don't really know if I want to see The Undertaker used as a jumping off point for another younger superstar. I don't see the point. I don't know how much the younger superstar would get out of putting The Undertaker to pasture, not pastor. He's not preaching. So, I'm not really sure how much help that would be to anybody. You don't want to be the guy to end The Undertaker's career. And I'm fairly certain, even though The Undertaker has done the job for other people, and he's always been a company guy, a team guy, I don't think the WWE is going to let him end his career, especially after losing the streak on a losing note. They want something triumphant for Undertaker. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. It could be very interesting to see how they do that. But I can see them both having final matches at WrestleMania 32 next year. I think it's a very good possibility. Hanina, Carly, Alexander, again, I did not put these in very good order. Hey, when Stone Cold Steve Austin comes back to have his last match, who do you think he will face since CM Punk has gone to UFC? Who else for Austin to face? Could he face Cena at next year's Mania, or would he face one of the new guys like Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, or could he face one of his greatest rivals like Rock again for the last time? Or could he face Triple H? What do you think his best possible chances with? I know they had plans for for Triple H and Stone Cold at some point, and then they were kind of transferred it to Triple H and The Rock. I don't know if either of those matches are ever going to happen. I think there's a good possibility that The Rock could be one more time with Stone Cold. I don't know how good of a match that would be, but it would generate some buzz. Cena, I don't see any point in having that match. It could happen, but probably not. As far as some of the younger guys go, I don't know. Ambrose would be interesting, but let's face it. If I really do believe the only way we'll ever see Stone Cold Steve Austin back in a WWE ring one more time is when, yes, I'm saying when, CM Punk does come back. I think he's going to get humiliated in the UFC, and he will come back. He's going to come back at next year's WrestleMania. I really feel it in my bones. And I might be wrong, but I think we will see CM Punk and Stone Cold Steve Austin in a loser takes his ball and goes home again match. Now, I think it would be one of the biggest matches in the history of wrestling, potentially. I mean, the buzz around it would be incredible since they're so similar in so many ways. These two truly are the cult of personality. I mean, it makes so much sense to have them take on each other. They both have bucked the boss and, taken their balls and gone home and all that stuff. So it's very strange. There's so many things that can happen. I think it's the only thing that really truly makes sense for Stone Cold at this point. The Rock, I mean, they could always do that match, but that would be the fourth time. And do we really need a fourth match out of them when their combined age would be almost 100? I mean, I don't think we really need to see that. But, you never know. Dr. Bostoni, another question on him. thanks for the little spot there. Okay, he's thanking me for the shout out I gave him, I guess. With the Rumble occurring Sunday, it got me thinking, what are your favorite match stipulations and your favorite pay-per-views? I'll say it again. Since the Rumble is Sunday, who could you see return in the Rumble who's been out for a long time, like John Morrison? I'll answer that question first. Well, it won't be John Morrison. Johnny Mundo is happy down in Lucha. I think now The Rock is in the running that we haven't seen in a while. I think he's in the running to return. I put him at about 30%, which is actually a really high number, I think. I think there's a 30% possibility he's in DDP. I think there's a possibility for him. I have a feeling Scott Hall has a real chance to be in this thing. I think that's a very good possibility. Bo Dallas, we haven't seen him in a while. I know he's not exactly who you're talking about, but I think that's a good possibility. I'm almost guaranteed we're going to see him. Sheamus, I know he's not really who you were talking about, but not only do I think we'll see Sheamus, but we're also going to see the beginning of a heel Sheamus, which will be cool. The Dudleys, I think the Dudleys are a very high probability of showing up, especially now that some more wrestlers have been taken out of the Rumble inexplicably, like Los Matadores, and it looks like Justin Gabriel has straight up quit the company. So that's 3 more spots that they have to fill. So they're probably on the phones right now with people trying to work out deals and getting them down there. And we could see some real big magic because of it. Who knows? I think the Dudleys are a really, really good possibility. But for some reason, I think like Scott Hall, X-Pac, I think either of those guys could be in the Rumble, and it would make complete sense. And then for some reason, I think we're going to get a legend. I think we're going to get some kind of big legend. It could be Hogan. I think it would blow the roof off the place, but see him getting dumped over the rope quickly would be nice. But I think we're going to see a legend. Hogan, I don't think Piper. The Iron Sheik could be an interesting person, but I don't know if he's in any physical condition to do that. But that would be kind of a cool thing to see as far as the legends go. Yeah, I think any of those guys. JBL, I'd like to see him take an actual run. You know, it'd be nice. I know he did go in for like 2 seconds last year, but I'd like to see him go for an actual APA or JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield, like from the back. That would be kind of cool. Something like that would be really fun to see. But I'm going to go with the Dudleys as my highest probability. Them damn Dudleys! That would be kind of cool. So, don't count out a Mick Foley situation either. Especially now with these 3 guys out of the Rumble. The 3 guys that have been taken out now. There's a really good possibility we see Foley. So, another question from Hanina Carly Alexander. And I'm not saying that with any disdain. I love all these questions by everybody. I'm just mad at myself that I did not organize them better and have them closer, but I guess it's okay that I'm going 1 and 1, 1, 1. That's completely fine. When Orton returns, do you see him getting back into the title scene right away, or do you think they're going to have him feud with Bad News Barrett for the Intercontinental title? I don't think either of those things are going to happen. I do think Orton will be coming back tonight. I'm not sure what his role is going to be. He might be in the Rumble. But I think there's also a really good possibility that he's going to get involved in the main event. He might only be there for that purpose. And one way or another, I think all hell is going to break loose at tonight's Royal Rumble. That main event is going to be insane. I think it could be the most interfered with main event title match of all time. I believe Orton, there's a very good possibility that if Seth Rollins is only in this match to help protect Cena from looking weak in another loss to Lesnar, that Orton could be getting involved and getting his revenge on Rollins and setting up their feud going into WrestleMania. Also, I believe we're going to see Rusev interfere in that match. I really still do believe we're going to see The Undertaker interfere in that match. And who knows who else. Ambrose could get involved. There's so many guys they can send out there. Complete fucking insanity. Sting could get involved in this. Triple H, all the Authority members, J&J Security, Vince McMahon could get involved in some form of or faction. There's just so many things that could happen, and I'm really excited about it. But as far as Orton, I don't see him going into the title picture. That being said, it does not stand beyond reason that Randy Orton could walk out as the winner of the Royal Rumble this year. It's a very good possibility. So we'll see what happens. I think a lot of it's going to depend on the order of the event. I think there's a good probability that either the title match or the Royal Rumble could lead off the show. And that could tell us that we're about to see something truly fucking insane. They could do it either way they wanted. If they wanted to really go crazy mode, you have the Royal Rumble end the show, and you have the main event, the World Heavyweight Championship. I still call it the main event because it's the World Heavyweight title. Open the show, and then you can do whatever you want with that match. I mean, Seth Rollins can lose, and it still opens up the opportunity for him to cash in the Money in the Bank later on. I mean, there are so many ways they can do it. Like, they could have one thing that ran into my head. Cena could win the belt and get laid out by Rusev, and they can do an injury angle where they really hurt Cena, you know? And then later on in the night, you know, Seth Rollins goes to Cena in the back and says, "I'm challenging you for the title tonight." And, like, they're wheeling Cena out in a fucking wheelchair or on a stretcher to this match, and Rollins wins that way. I could see that happening. They could also open it with the Rumble, and then we get our Rumble winner right off the top, and then I think we'd really see some chaos in the main event then. So, all kinds of stuff I think they can do. I don't remember how I started on this realm of thought. I am really messed up right now. I'm so sick. So, I'm hoping I answered everyone's questions properly. I don't really know what's going to happen with Orton at this point, other than I'm guessing Rollins. But don't be surprised if he wins the title or wins the Royal Rumble. All right, let's get some of your favorite some of your favorite Royal Rumble moments and your predictions. Let's get to that. Daniel Atrill. My favorite Royal Rumble moment is when Steve Austin got eliminated from the Rumble, but the refs didn't see it, so he ran back in the ring and eliminated Bret Hart. Great heel move right there. I agree, Daniel. I agree. Tony Barrasso, the man, Tony. Hi, I'm Tony, and I'm electrifying. Hey, Dave, my predictions are Daniel Bryan wins the Rumble. I would rather have that than Roman Reigns. He's just not ready, in my opinion, and I see Brock Lesnar retaining the title in the triple threat match. Okay, thank you, Mr. Tony. Mr. Supreme. First, he complimented me on the 3-part prediction show, which I hope all of you guys have watched because it's really, really good, and I'm super, super proud of it. My prediction is for the title that Rollins is going to win, and prediction for the Rumble is Daniel Bryan. Magic Mo 101. In all honesty, I would love to see Ambrose Rollins at Mania, with Ambrose winning the Royal Rumble and Rollins winning the title. Think about it. Dean never went over in the headline, and he headlined a great majority of last year's pay-per-views. But it's just a fantasy. So is D-Bry winning the Royal Rumble going against... so is Daniel Bryan winning the Royal Rumble and going against Lesnar at WrestleMania. Unfortunately, they will go at the Reigns route if Cena doesn't win. It'll be because Rusev interfering, setting up Cena-Rusev at WrestleMania. I think Ambrose will get taken out by Barrett, setting up an Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania. And if Bryan was to win the Royal Rumble, Reigns would get taken out by the Big Show. Then there's Bray, like you said, the dark horse. Who knows how he will factor in? Gotta hand it to WWE. It's been years since they had so many possibilities. I agree. Bear. I'm picking Heyman to turn on Lesnar and ally with Rollins and the Authority. Rollins doesn't have to use his briefcase. I want to see Ziggler win the Rumble more than anybody, but I can't make an official pick for that. In order of likelihood is probably like this. 1 is Reigns, 2 Bryan, 3 Ambrose, 4 Ziggler, 5 Bray Wyatt. Hanina Carly Alexander. she's got a prediction here too. I want Roman Reigns to win the Rumble. He is my favorite in winning this match. I want to see him Superman the crap out of Big Show and eliminate his crybaby self out of the ring. Believe in that. Eddie N. This might sound crazy, but I have a really weird feeling that The Undertaker is going to be a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble match. Taker wins, secures a spot to fight Lesnar at WrestleMania 31. I don't think it's going to happen, but I still had this thought all of a sudden, and I just wrote it here. Haha. By the way, one of my favorite Royal Rumbles is 2004, which Benoit won. It's the first Royal Rumble memory I had as a small kid. 2004. Young Bucks, y'all some kids out there. I had a daughter in 2004. Fuck. And the pay-per-view as a whole was phenomenal with HBK and Triple H's last man standing match. Yeah, that was pretty damn awesome. Pretty awesome. Ryan Schlottens. I'm really sorry. I apologize. Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie to start the Rumble match. Not sure what year. It was 1998. That was his favorite Royal Rumble moment. 1998. Great. And it was the Three Faces of Foley Royal Rumble. Great Royal Rumble. I agree. Victor Negron. I was at the 08 Rumble where Cena made the surprise return. As much as I dislike Cena, I gotta admit that was a great moment to experience live. No one expected that. It was a true surprise, which is rare these days. The Garden went crazy when his music hit. First and only pay-per-view I ever attended. Favorite moments from that night were watching Ric Flair in person for the first time wrestle MVP, and the Royal Rumble match itself, including watching Superfly and Piper enter, and the rest of the guys backed off and let those two take center stage for a moment. Also, HBK and Taker entered 1 and 2 overall. Just an awesome night. I got to rewatch that on the network right now. So, there you go. Good job, Victor Negron. Flaming Daddy. Great video again, Dave. Tommy murdered my ears with headphones. Laughing my ass off. Bless him. I really hope Bryan can win, but Roman is the clear favorite. It's down to if WWE has the balls to go with Reigns despite the backlash, which could occur, or give the fans what they want. It could well be as good as year as any to go all out on Dolph, but I doubt it. In regards to best Rumble memories, 92 certainly was fantastic. I liked the Benoit one. I loved the Triple H one when he returned after his quad injury. That was 2002. But my favorite has to be Alberto Del Rio, deleting all the other putas. Did you catch my drift, cabron? LOL. I'm just fucking around. HBK #1 to the winner. Wire to wire will always be my favorite Rumble memory. Dr. Bostonian. When Edge came back 4 months early and won. Boom. Short, sweet. That's why I love Dr. Bostonian. Short, sweet, and straight to the point. I don't think I answered one of his questions, though, that he asked. I believe he asked what was my favorite pay-per-view and, my favorite pay-per-view and gimmick matches. So I'll go ahead and I'll throw that out there real quick because I only answered the last part of his question. So I'll go ahead and answer that. My favorite pay-per-views is Royal Rumble, and when it existed, the King of the Ring. The King of the Ring I wish they'd bring that back as a full-fledged pay-per-view. It was so good. I say stick it right in between Rumble and Mania. That's what I think, because it could set up so many storylines and give somebody so much motivation and momentum going into Mania. I think that would be really awesome. So those are two of my favorites. From the past, Fall Brawl, WCW's Fall Brawl. That's one of my favorite pay-per-views of all time. Halloween Havoc. I loved Halloween Havoc. Uncensored was another one from the WCW days that I absolutely loved. I was also a fan of the In Your Houses. I know there were so many of them, but I kind of enjoyed those. just because they were kind of interesting. They felt like lesser pay-per-views, but they were still kind of cool to watch. Survivor Series used to be one of my favorites. And there's so many, but if I got to pick two, I'll go to two. I'll say probably King of the Ring and Royal Rumble. They're just amazing. So, all right, guys. I hope I answered everyone's questions. I hope I gave you guys plenty of shout-outs as far as who getting out what you guys think is going to happen and your favorite memories. I feel like crap. I'm exhausted. I got to get some sleep so I can deliver tonight on the Joe Cronin Show. And right after the Joe Cronin Show, we got a long night ahead of us because we got the Royal Rumble match. Then we're going live on Spectrum Gaming 617 on the Joe Cronin Show to take your calls and talk and get you guys through this mass hysteria of an evening that I'm sure it's going to be. And then directly after that, I am going to go to my channel and do a video. So make sure that you stay up for that and give me a little bit of love before you hit nighty-night time. So as always, like, share, subscribe, support, all of that good stuff. Check out my merchandise on deadondave.spreadshirt.com. All kinds of good stuff there. We are rapidly approaching 500 subs. I would be absolutely enamored. I would be over the moon if we get to 400 subs tonight. I think it's a very good possibility. So if you haven't subbed, make sure you do so. If you know people who haven't subbed, get them to do so. Just support the channel, guys. I appreciate it as always. You guys keep me going. I'm exhausted. I'm going to get some sleep. Thanks a lot. I will see you later on tonight. Get ready, motherfuckers. It's the Royal Rumble, and it's coming up soon. Peace!